Welcome back, friends. This is part 3 of the PowerShell introduction series. Today, we are going to have a look at a very important concept in PowerShell named pipelining. Pipelining is a concept in PowerShell where one command sends the result to the next command. For example, suppose you want a listing of all the files in the current directory and you want to select only a few items. This example, dir, you send the results to the next command called sort, which takes the input from the previous command and sorts them according to the length property. And from the sort results, that is going to be passed to the next command called select star, which will return all the properties. This is a simple example. So there are two ways pipelining works. One is pass by value, another is pass by property. For example, when you want to get all the members, we'll have a look at this through an example where we pass by value and pass by property. So in this example, we get the process name notepad and we are passing it to the next command called dir. This is working because the property here matches with one of the properties here. So first have a look at the receiving command, get-help dir. If you see, this getChildItem has a parameter named -path. Now let's have a look at the input command, get-help get-process. Get-process get member. We look at the output, so we need to look at all the properties. So does this have a property? Yes, it does have a property called path. And even the help file of dir has a property called path. And hence this command works. Suppose you want to pass by method. So this is the example. Get dir. So if you see dir-path, and you can pass the command itself. Instead of piping it, you can happily pass that as a method. Get process -name calculator dot path or get process -name notepad dot path. And if you want to pass through pipeline, another way is to get process notepad get child item -path, and within the curly braces, you give the result of the property which you want to use is $_path and $_path. So there are three possible ways we have seen. One is directly get process, we pipe it, and it's merely get the result. Another is we pass it as a property in within curly braces, that is -path $_path referring to the path property of the get process. Another way is we merely pass the command. Instead of using pipeline, we just use get process -name. Let's try notepad dot path. So this is a summary of pipeline. Pipeline is a highly used feature in PowerShell where one command sends the result to the next command and the properties have to match. The results of the sending command should match with the property of the receiving command. And you can pass by value by directly passing by using pipeline or by property, that is you send the command within parenthesis and pass the value path, or you merely use the pipeline and within curly braces you pass the parameter. Next is so this is another example where we are listing all the files greater than particular size. And a good feature in PowerShell is, suppose there is a new column name, you can happily create one and that will be displayed. So let's just try this example where it needs to be semicolon and not the comma. You pass the sending command, that is get process -name notepad, and then select the properties. For example, name. And suppose you want to create a new property called let's say the date, and you can use You can use the name property followed by the one name and then semicolon expression is equal to the command you want to give in curly braces, square in this squiggly brackets. So this is the answer. Another example is using this date. You get the date and we display the date along with the day of the week. And this day, if you note, it is not actually a property. So this is one way where you can have computed columns in PowerShell, and it is very powerful. Next, we move on to loops and conditioning. In PowerShell, it supports very good loops and conditions. What are the conditions? Some of them are if, else, and switch. These are the two conditions. And we have lots of loops supported in PowerShell like for each, do while, and many other commands. Let's start off with the if example. So this is a simple example where $x is equal to 0. So if $x is equal to $true, we display $x is true. Else if $x is equal to false, we display $x is false. Otherwise we display it is neither true nor false. Let's select this and execute this command. It says $x is false because in PowerShell $true and $false are Boolean values storing either 0 or 1 depending on if it's true it's 1, if it's false it is 0. And next we move on to a simple example of for each. And the PowerShell version 5 from version 3 using the Control J you can happily do the loops by just selecting this existing code. Now let's just try to print the values of 1 to 5 using various looping options. We'll have a variable called $I equal to 1 and until it is $x is greater than, let's try to print the value of $I until $I and we'll increment the value hyphen less than 6. Let's run this command. I'm sorry, you need to use greater than. Until it is greater than 5, this loop should run. Now let's just run this command. It will display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the same number 1 to 5 we will try with while. While the difference is while I is greater than, less than or equal, while the condition is true, less than or equal to 5, we'll try with the do while $I is less than or equal to 5. Let's run this. Ta-da! 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next example, let's go ahead and try the for loop. For loop is the syntax is for first you have the initialization. That is $I is equal to 0. Then the condition check. $I less than or equal to 5. Then you have the increment $I plus plus. And within this you can happily do the statements you want to do. It can be just printing. Let's just do mere printing or even further operations. Now let's try to run this F8. It displays 1 to 5. Since we want only 1, we just remove this 0. And now if you run this, you display 1 to 5. Next example is for each. For each can be useful for arrays. That is, we suppose we have an array and is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for each can be very useful. For each, $I in $array, you just merely print the value. This is the easiest of all for processing elements in an array. And let's try this now. Okay. Let's see this. It's printing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we go ahead to the switch. Switch, let's go to the syntax. Switch, if you see, it has a parameter passed, which is the variable, and if the conditions are specified, the corresponding statements in the in the curly braces will be executed. For example, let's have the $x value as A. Now let's see what it does. So if you see, so it is telling it cannot convert $x because of already. See, now we have assigned the value of A, and now when we run this, it displays the letter ABC because it satisfies the condition $_ in A, B or C. Let's try to change to small a and see if this works. Yes, because PowerShell is case insensitive and hence it displays. Now let's change the value to some number. It displays none because it is none of the above. PowerShell can also use switch statements as a for each loop. So let's try to run this command. Suppose we have an array containing 1 to 5, and using the default we can merely display the current value. So this will loop through all the elements in the array, and since there is no condition, so switch can also be used as an condition as an array to print 1 to 5. So let's go back to the slide. So we have seen what are conditions. You can use if else. You can place the condition inside the parenthesis and place your code within this curly brackets. Next condition is switch. If a condition, you have to place this code in this format, switch followed by the a variable name, and within the curly braces you can specify the condition followed by the code in curly braces. For iterations, PowerShell supports for each, do while, for, and even switch can be used as for iteration. In this example, for I is equal to 0, I less than 5 plus plus displays 0 to 5, 0 to 4. Next, 10 x I is equal to 10, I less than equal to 15, it displays 1, 10 to 15 using while. And so switch in this example can show us how it displays the day of the week using the switch parameter. If it is Sunday, it will display Sunday. You can even modify the code. It's a holiday, and so that is a summary of today's session. With so we have completed. So far, we have seen the basics of PowerShell with variables and arrays, and also loops and conditions. Uh, Thank you.